Hi everyone. Today we're going to talk about the comparisons, as this is probably the number one thing that our customers complain about and taking too much time and a hassle. And let's start from the brief introduction here from Scott.
Hey, so yeah, my name's Scott. For me, I mean, working with this insurance has been the ultimate sandbox. It's really given me the ability to combine my background in data mining and AI and working with underwriting. And my mission here is to really try to achieve autonomy in the broker space.
Thank you.
Hi
James.
guys, I'm James. So my background is more in like process analysis and business process automation. So trying to improve your efficiency and scalability. And that's something that I've really enjoyed focusing on, particularly insurance, because there's always a large tech stack. There's always a lot of disconnected processes. So there's a lot of area and scope for improvement in the insurance space.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Andrew, and most of my experience in agency strategy and client experience to make sure that the technology we are working on and building actually solve the human problems that brokers face every day, every single time. And today we're going to talk about a comparison, because last video was talking about the how to find any carrier, right? And but what happens after their actual quote are coming back, right? Or even worse, if there is like the massive documents like commercial books come up for the renewal, because comparing coverages, calculating like rate changes, trying to avoid any like claims, and it might be incredibly stressful. Scott, what is the comparison process is still such a manual nightmare here?
I mean, it's a nightmare because of the sheer volume of data, right? So, you're getting potential quotes from 5 different carriers. Some are going to be direct, the product lines are going to be the same. But the average, commercial policy, depending in commercial space, can be 400 pages long. So humans aren't really built to read the 400-page like PDF side by side and trying to find the comparisons, especially with something as simple as a renewal. It's just a lot of information here. So subtle exclusions, changes on like page 212, right? Could be, one of the recent changes is like the exclusion of war and other things. Like this is tiny little changes, one paragraph here, one paragraph there in a 400-page document. It's really it can lead to errors. It's eye fatigue, it's time consuming, and brokers are really forced to skim, the documents. You just, it's a certain amount of volume and a certain amount of time where you just need to, attempt your best to get the E&O issues. But yeah, you're really kind of forced to skim and, work at your capacity that you can, and, be as awake and focused as possible to really do these comparisons.
Yeah.
But things get missed, right? And that's a human thing, right? Failure to process efficient coverages is constantly the number one driver for E&O claims against brokers. So it's a complex situation. It's not necessarily a complex task. It's complex to achieve because of the amount of information. Right now, account managers are manually, typing out premium changes into spreadsheets, and praying they didn't miss any new added like cyber exclusions or a dropped, subtle limit that's been in there. So it's really a massive drain of time and frankly, a tricky E&O time bomb if you're doing this manually.
Yeah, I could only imagine the anxiety of missing something in 800 pages, like stack of the documents, and I bet that this is something that keeps agency owners at night, right? Sometimes, but James, how does like our software, the Prudens, de-risk this process and get brokers of that spreadsheet business?
You're on mute, James.
Apologies. I mean, it's really because, I mean, humans are obviously terrible at doing that process, but it's exactly what a machine can do. So, like with Prudens, you can just upload any document into it. It doesn't matter about the format or what it is, if it's like an intake form or a massive like 400-page policy document or various proposals. Like the format doesn't matter, because that unstructured data is going to be taken by Prudens, and it's going to do a nice clean side-by-side comparison. And it's going to be able to perform some calculations in the background, like calculating changes in premiums, specific changes in coverage, flagging any potential E&O risks, like a missing limit or some expiring terms. So in short, the AI is reading that 400 pages so you don't have to, and it's able to read it instantly and with absolute accuracy.
Yeah, and that's incredible for the visibility. But how does it actually fit in like agency daily workflow? Because like with the progress we were speaking with, right, and even I myself, that's they also hate like to be forced to log in like maybe another standalone portal to generate some of the reports.
Well, the good thing is they don't have to. Like Prudence is designed to be invisible when the brokers want it to be invisible. So we built it into if the company decides to automatically trigger based on the system that they're using. So, for example, the moment a carrier drops a renewal into a specific Google Drive or a Microsoft folder or in their AMS system, Prudence wakes up the process of and starts processing the 400-page document to generate the comparison without a human necessarily even clicking a button. Of course, they have the ability to do this manually, or they have the choice to set it up to be more autonomous.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just on the front end either. I mean, the actual output, it can be just as flexible and just as automated. So, for example, you may want to have your comparisons output as like an email or a client ready PDF or a spreadsheet of data. And the more powerful side of it really is that structured data it can be pushed out in a standard format. So if you want to have that data lead into your CRM or your AMS system, then we can map that so that data just goes straight into your other system in the exact format that it needs to be in to kick off further processes down the line.
Yeah. So let's talk about what actually this like end-to-end automation actually unlocks. And James, if you can give me like maybe a real-world example of what a fully automated renewal looks like using this tech.
Yeah, so there's quite a few different ways you could use it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be your own like strict operational rules that are controlling the automation here, because obviously there's a compliance aspect to this as well. So let's say, for instance, that you've got a 400-page renewal document that you've pushed into Prudence to compare with the previous year's policy of a similar length, no doubt. And you've set some guardrails in place that say, if there are no E&O risks and the policy price, the premium has not increased by more than 10% since the previous year, then send the comparison and the binding instructions straight to the client without any intervention from your team. So in that case, essentially what's happening is the system's receiving that new comparison document. It's doing all the math, it's doing all the calculations, it's checking the risks. If it sees something that, if it's not seeing anything that needs to be flagged, it will just process that renewal flawlessly, and the broker doesn't even have to touch it.
Yeah, I think that's important to highlight as well, the capacity that it creates, because we're not just like talking about saving a few minutes a day. Like we are talking about like fundamentally changing like the whole unit economics for the insurance agency here.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the mass manually reviewing and comparing to 400-page documents, to draft a client email takes the account manager an average of 2 to 3 hours to kind of review and make decisions about it. per complex policies, to do it right. So if you have a book of 100 of these complex renewals, well, that's up to 300 hours of work already on pure administrative work to tread water and, keep your existing revenue alone.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, let's say the majority of your renewals fall into that category of auto renewal. You're looking at like that 3-hour process could drop to seconds, and it's completely no touch in those situations. Then, of course, if the AI does raise some kind of E&O risk or a like a unusual increase in price, etc., then it's going to flag that to you guys, and you maybe need to spend 10 minutes doing like a high-level review using the comparison and the highlighted items that the system has highlighted for you. And that's just saving you like such amount of time that you spend manually skimming through trying to find these differences and then work out what to do with those and how to action them. So you're freeing up loads of time that your brokers can then send on more revenue generating opportunities, so like upsell and cross-sell and just managing relationships rather than tediously going through loads of documents looking for changes that aren't there.
Now, as we can see, like from the first hand, this is where the industry is heading, right? The autonomous brokerage, and your team's time is too valuable to spend manually on hunting those missing commas in the 400-page policy documents, right? Trusting something like this on the synthetic data might not be like the best approach and highlight of that. That's why we can set up everything for you for free, do that on your behalf with your real data, and you can see in live how the 2-3 hour comparison turn into just a few minutes review for you. So reach out to us. There will be the link below, and we will do everything for you and show in maybe in the 10 minutes how everything works, so you can see that yourself on the real data. Yeah, so that's it for today's video. You will see the link down below. Hit like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.
See you soon, guys.
See you.